I've got a special video for you today, and it's about my mother. Before I get into it, I'm going to respond to this comment, and this is what has lit the match, the final match for me. Yes, I am burning the house down. Well, I already burnt it down. Well, she burnt it down. Actually, she did. Literally, there was a duplex fire when I was a little girl. She literally did burn the house down. I forgot about that. Anyway, so many memories to choose from. Carolyn loves to leave comments, and Carolyn is following me. Like, Carolyn, you can go away if you don't want to hear it. You can hit the block button. I won't block you because, I just don't do that. Actually, that's not true. I will block someone if they're attacking other members in the community on my platforms because it's a safe space. So I will block under those circumstances. Normally I don't though. Normally I just report those comments or I delete them. I try not to moderate heavily because I do want the conversations to be occurring. However, I will not allow someone to bully or hurt someone else. There's no punctuation in this video. And funny in this video, in this comment that you made, Carolyn, which kind of made it a little difficult to read. And it also reminded me of my mother because my mother is not the grammar queen. And so it's kind of got a little vibe going on to me. And I don't know if it's my mother or if it's someone that is from the DNA cult that we have the same DNA. I don't know. I'm coming up with different names for what I call this group of people that I happen to be related to. So if you have suggestions, put it in the comment section. Let's have a little fun with it. We kind of have one of those senses of humor, that it's dark at times. Okay, here we go. I can't believe you just keep going on about your poor mother. Why don't you let her have a say? I'm putting a period there. Who's stopping her, Carolyn? Who's stopping her from having a say? She could create her own profile. She could name me by name and then you'd know who she was and she could defend herself. Why do you need to defend her? Carolyn, do you have children? Are you my mommy? Mommy dearest? You're subscribed to my channel. If you don't like it, go away. Unsubscribe and then you don't have to be bothered. Oh, it's going to get better. Okay, here we go. I don't believe she threw you out the window. I don't care what you believe. How about that? Were you there? I was 5 years old the day she dropped me out of a 2-story window. And here's a little side note on that. I walked away with 2 broken arms. Up until about 5 years ago, my psyche could not handle the fact, the thought, the knowledge that she was trying to unalive me. I never connected those dots. Never processed that part of what she did to me that day. Because having to accept that my own mother not only wanted to unalive me, but caused me so much pain in the process of it was just too much of a painful burden to bear. She was trying to unalive me. She would have had no way of knowing that I would walk away with 2 broken arms. And also, my beginning to process that wasn't my original thought. It's because somebody said that to me that sparked off my reality, the reality that my mother attempted to murder me. My poor mother. This little girl, by the way. Yeah. But my poor mother. Are you trying to trigger me by saying you don't believe me? You're in the wrong spot, honey. Dear. Schmooky, you're in the wrong spot. I'm very snarky sparky right now. You are on the wrong platform. I am unflappable. Inside and out, through and through. I know what happened to me. I don't gaslight myself. I don't worry about what other people think about my experience because they didn't live my experience. So I hate to disappoint you, Carolyn, but there is literally nothing you can say or do to me that hasn't already been done that I haven't learned how to deal with. It feels so good. Oh, love that. I love this for me. Sorry, I'm sure you don't. I believe that you are probably reaching for something. She went to grab you to bring you in. And you feel she's a mother. She's not going to do that. She loves you. Why don't you give her a break and just forget about it? If you don't like her and don't think you're perfect with your kids, they're probably complaining about you now. Anybody else have a hard time reading that? But I get the gist. I was reaching out the window. My mother made me reach out the window to check if it was raining because she was trying to send my brother, who she was fighting with, to the store to buy her a pack of cigarettes. And he, the golden child, my mother's son, was pushing back saying it's raining. He didn't want to go. And they were screaming and yelling at each other. And my mother sent me up the stairs to lean out the window. Why didn't she just have me open the front door of the house to check if it was raining? Doesn't that seem weird to send a 5-6-year-old child up a second story to put her hand out the window? And then when she came upstairs, because I yelled down that it was raining, and it was actually spitting, it was drizzling, she told me, no, it's not, lean out further. So I reached, like you said, I was reaching for something, for the rain, for the weather. Still not good enough. Put both hands out. And as I did that, my mother picked me up by my ankles and dropped me. I remember the sensation of the fall. It would be many years of fear of heights, which I've overcome quite well, actually. I'll play a video at the end of this one just to show you what healing looks like. Doesn't mean that I'm not impacted by remembering that now. I'm actually in freeze right now in terms of I'm trembling and I'm frozen, like I'm cold in my core. So you managed to trigger that, but like it's not going to impact me in the way that I know that you're hoping it will. I remember the sensation of the fall. Occasionally when I smell rain, it brings me back there because something else might be, tickling at me. I remember the scent though. I remember waking up on the ground and my mother wrapping me in my blanket and putting me in a taxi and taking me to the hospital. A taxi. Why not call an ambulance? Your child just fell out of a 2-story window. A taxi is going to take longer to come than an ambulance, right? And then I remember passing out in the taxi and waking up with casts on my arms that went from just underneath my armpit, wrapped all the way around my hand. My thumbs and my fingers were free, and I was like this. I don't know for how long. My arms were broken in 3 different places. And I don't have memories of living in the casts. I do know I was with my grandparents for some period of time, who were child emmers, by the way, and I'm sure you don't believe that either. And I can only imagine the reason I don't remember daily life in those casts is because of such a lack of control, and who knows what was actually being done to me during that period of time and going on around me. My next memory in reference to the casts are when I was getting them removed, because I remember the sound of the saw and being petrified, and my mother being as discompassionate as she possibly could be. But hey, you don't believe me. Oh no, it must not be true then. So Carolyn, here's my announcement. Since you're so concerned about my mother having a say, I'm going to give her one, but not in the way that you would like that to happen. And it's not because of you or this comment. It's because of my layer of healing of where I am now and my recognition of something that I think I've been holding on to that I no longer want to hold on to. In the beginning, when I started speaking out about what I went through underneath my mother. I have kept her very anonymous, but for my name, and her last name is not my last name. It's probably not even trackable together. I don't know. Maybe it is. Some super sleuth can do it. I mean, all the doxing that goes on nowadays, right? But we haven't shared a last name in I don't even know how long. And she's had a lot of last names, a lot of aliases. And she's actually even opened up businesses under the name of one of my children, a couple of different times where we had to kind of go in and dismantle that, or I think my daughter went in and just kind of dealt with it. Anywho, this is also someone who was convicted of selling fake handbags, running an entire ring that resulted in her being sued for hundreds of thousands of dollars. The judgment was won against her from 2 very major fashion houses. I have receipts. Her last domestic partner, did you know she had 4 of 6 partners die while being with her? 3 of them were her actual husbands. The last one was a domestic partner. There's a handwritten will that was filed that looks a lot like her handwriting that was notarized by a friend of hers. She didn't manage to get his property. I guess she didn't go for broke on that one because I think she got spooked. She leaves a paper trail and she's too stupid to know it. She's clever, but she's dumb at the same time. Anywho, when I started talking about my mother, I kept her very generic I'm doing this because I cut my bangs again today and it's driving me crazy. I kept it very generic because I thought I was keeping it very generic because she represents so many mothers out there that are pretty much the same. From, what's her name? Joanne Crawford on down. Like Mommy Dearest has nothing on her. I watched that movie. I clocked 15 things in that movie with no effort whatsoever that were pretty much identical to my experience with my mother. That was my first knowledge that I wasn't the only one, that there was one other person out there like me. Anyway, I kept her anonymous because I felt like I was representing everybody's mother, and people would ask me, show a picture, show her name, do this, do that. And I held firm to the fact that I really wanted her to be generic. And in looking backwards, I think there were 2 parts to that. I did want to keep her generic. I think I was also protecting something. And I don't know if I was protecting the possibility of anyone in that group of relatives being my relative again. I don't know if I was protecting the possibility of something good happening with her, even though I want nothing to do with her. It's all very subconscious, and little Marnie sometimes really does run the show. I've been protecting my psyche. Little Marnie has been protecting me from lots of different things, like recognizing my grandmother was also CSAing me, bringing me into the bed so my grandfather could have at me, also completely unclothed. And there have been a lot of things in the last 5 years that I have processed because I have more context, and because my psyche has become stronger, and because I am stronger, and because little Marnie knows she's safe with me. I am her good mom. So at some point in the very near future, I am going to make a very detailed video that includes my mother's images and her names. And the reason that I am going to do that is because I have also come to the recognition that I have, in my opinion, and other people may not feel this way, and if you don't, you don't, okay? Meaning you don't feel this well, not meaning that, meaning like I'm taking on this level of responsibility because it's how I feel about my situation. As long as my mother is living and breathing, she's harming people. And I have to wonder, if I had been naming her, if I had been louder, maybe this last man would still be alive. That's how I feel about that. Maybe it will save someone else from becoming her victim. And that's a big part of what's driving me. And the other part is I kind of feel like, while healing is an ongoing journey, this will put a finalization to part of my healing journey. So Carolyn, your comment, I just want you to know, has inspired me to make sure that my mother has the ability to have her say. And if she chooses to then do it, she can. Not, she doesn't have to. And for anyone out there who's going to be worried about libel, for me, I love you all so much. Or, me getting in trouble, defamation suits or whatever. I'm not worried about that because I know where the bodies are buried. So if she pursues something against me, I'm okay with that. I'm strong enough for that. And I'm also going to tell stories that I have receipts for because, I'm not self-destructive, which is, what she tried to raise me to be. But yeah, no, this isn't that. So again, Carolyn, follow, don't follow, block, don't block, comment, don't comment. Maybe consider using periods. It would be a lot easier for me. Not that I think you're trying to make anything easier for me. I don't know why you're gunning for me. Because this is a theme with you. You like to call me stupid and things like that. And so you just sound a lot like her. You sound a lot like my mother. For those of you who are like, okay, so when are you going to do that? Well, I'm going to do it in tears, just because it'll be easier for me emotionally and psychologically to do it that way. So if you are a member on my platform, where the join section is, you will be the first to see that video. And I would say I should have that out in the next 3 weeks. It's going to take a little time because I want to gather a bunch of stuff. I wish I had some pictures of her when she was actually aesthetically gorgeous, but I don't. So I'm just going to use what I do have. I don't think I do. I'll have to double check on that because I'm traveling, which is great because then she can't find me. And yeah, I'm going to put it all out there. So if you're a member on my platform, you're going to see it first. And anyone who's asking me, well, why not give it to everybody? Well, because my membership part is smaller and I just kind of want to ease myself in, and that feels like the easiest way to do that. So in about a month, it'll be on the membership part of my platform. And that's a great thing to join just because I do journal prompts on there. I am a therapist. I work with narcissistic abuse survivors. I have videos that are special for you. I make you videos based on your comments that are more individualized. It's another layer of connection. And there's a little bit more monitoring going on in the members section of my group because it's more manageable to me. I don't hand any of my stuff over to an admin other than the manager of my channel who does my scheduling and he does my SEO and he does the titling of some of my videos. All the interactions that you have with me are with me, which means that, between all of my platforms, that's a lot of people. So I'm going to put it in the member section first because I feel like that's just going to be more palatable for me. And that's why I'm doing it that way. And then I'll wait a few weeks or maybe a month, depending on how I'm feeling, and I'll roll it out on a wider scale. I just kind of want to see what it's going to feel like first. A few years ago, I made a video talking about how I was that girl in school. My voice is catching, and it was very sensitive to me. And I'm really grateful for the support I got. I also recognize it was very emotionally taxing for me. It's still somewhere in there, which means I need to talk about it more. That's just a sign that I still have an emotional attachment to that's not my burden to carry, that shame kind of thing, that embarrassment kind of thing. So I just know how to care for myself in the best way possible. And this is that. What do you think of Carolyn? What do you think of my share? What would you like to know about my mother? What would you like me to address? Let me know in the comments section, because as I'm creating that video, all of your comments are going to help me to make sure that I touch on things that are important to you. I might do it a little bit like the WTAF is my mother kind of thing, the way that I did my grandparents. There is a tab for that if you want to know the backstory there, or I might do it continuously. I don't know. It's just going to depend when I get there and how I feel about it emotionally. And I want to highlight something. I want to highlight the part where I'm talking about my own emotions and self-care. This is what self-care looks like. Not putting aside what I know I need for me, at any point in time, making sure that I show up for myself. I address the comments that I choose to address. I ignore what I choose to ignore. I'm very, very aware of what I need for my own well-being. And that's why little Marnie trusts me so much. And that is how I am her good mom. I have complex PTSD. I have the awareness that I need to make sure I take care of myself in particular ways. And that's what I do. And well, in the membership portion, you can learn more about that too. And that's all I got. So thank you so much for being here. Regardless of whether you're a subscriber, part of the community here, or you're in the membership section, I value you all the same. I adore everybody who has been here healing along with me. I just cannot tell you how meaningful you all are and your comments are to me. I have no words to express that adequately. This has been an incredible healing journey for me. And if you're out there contemplating sharing your story, it's not easy. It's definitely worth it. I'll see you soon. Thanks for being here.
The camera, madam. Let's see, check.
I am so scared right now.
Yeah, no. Oscar! Oscar! ¿Tú me darías una manito? Sí.
Oh, because when the kite goes
Your
up.
assistant. Personal assistant.
I'm so scared. I'm shaking. Do you feel me shaking? I'm not cold anymore. I'm just scared. Okay, it's okay. Wow.
You ready, Marnie?
As ready as I'm going to be. How's that for an answer?
Mission.
Okay. Do I just start running or?
You can please walk. And then you run. Run. Keep running. Okay. Good takeoff, madam. Give me the camera.
That's not. I thought I could.